Enligt Time Magazines senaste undersökning.
In the most recent study conducted by Time Magazine,
de todos los coches citados en todos los países de la encuesta,
lors de l'enquête la plus récente effectuée par Time Magazine,
sono state citate 24 auto diverse, auto americane.
24 verschiedene Wagen wurden angegeben.
automobile owners throughout Europe were asked to rate cars on several characteristics: quality, styling, technology, safety, reliability. 24 different cars were named. Cars from America, Sweden, Japan, Italy, England, France and Germany. Of all the cars named, one car was rated number one as best value for the money. It was Volkswagen.
Surprised? You shouldn't be. Value has been a standard feature on every Volkswagen ever made. In this program, you'll discover things you may not have known about how cars are made and tested, and learn some things you may want to consider before you buy your next car. This is the story about the most loved cars in the world. Volkswagen entered the United States quietly in 1949 when they sent 2 cars to this country in search of retailers to sell them. This is one of those 2 cars. It was called the Beetle. It would change forever the driving habits of people in America and all over the world. The spare tire, the gas tank, and the trunk were all up front. It had headlights like bulging eyeballs and turn indicators that snapped to attention in compartments hidden in the doorposts. The motor was in the back, mounted over the rear wheels to improve traction. It became known as an unbreakable car. A car that could run nonchalantly through mud and snow.
Have you ever wondered how the man who drives a snowplow drives to the snowplow? This one drives a Volkswagen. So you can stop wondering.
The Beetle wasn't the only transportation breakthrough Volkswagen produced. 40 years ago, they created the concept of today's minivan, the VW bus. Conventional wagons could carry your band instruments. Volkswagen could carry your band. You could use it for work, or you could take it on vacation, play in it, or pray in it. In 1962, when the 1 millionth bus rolled off the line in Germany, Volkswagen donated it to UNICEF. But let's go back to the early years. The first Volkswagen was designed by the legendary Ferdinand Porsche. It was revolutionary in concept and design. It had torsion bar suspension, an idea soon copied by all the American manufacturers. The transmission was quick and clear, the steering precise and responsive. Volkswagen was fanatic about reliability. The cars had to work the way they were designed to work, or they didn't leave the factory. Everything should work like that.
Few things in life work as well as a Volkswagen.
Volkswagen rode along modestly in America. 6,000 were sold in 1954 and 28,000 a year later. Detroit paid no attention. They knew what kind of cars people wanted.
Cars sure keep changing. They get longer and shorter and longer again. One year, fronts looked like backs. Then backs looked like fronts. You remember fins, don't you? And chrome everywhere. Here, and here, and here. One-toned cars were out. Three tones, they were the thing. We still don't know about headlights. Are 2 enough? 4, 6, 8? And then there's the Volkswagen, homely as ever. But everything in it keeps changing. The brakes, the clutch, the transmission. The engine has been improved hundreds of times. Some cars keep changing and stay the same. But the Volkswagen stays the same and keeps changing.
With Volkswagen, how a car handled was more important than how it looked.
The Bug, one of the fastest, strongest, most dependable animals alive.
Hollywood took notice of the growing love affair with this spunky little car, and they signed the Love Bug to a 3-picture deal. Volkswagen didn't follow fad or fashion in anything. They paved a new road in designing cars and talking about them. Volkswagen convinced people that it was okay to think small, that living below your means was socially acceptable, because a Volkswagen will make your house look bigger. VW owners were an independent sort and never worried much about what the neighbors thought.
Mr. Jones and Mr. Krempler were neighbors. They each had $3,000. With his money, Mr. Jones bought himself a $3,000 car. With his money, Mr. Krempler bought himself a new refrigerator, a new range, a new washer, a new dryer, a record player, 2 new television sets, and a brand new Volkswagen. Now Mr. Jones is faced with that age-old problem, keeping up with the Kremplers.
Volkswagen found more beauty in engineering than styling. Ugly is only skin deep. Lemon was a forbidden word in Detroit, but not at a company proud of its quality control. Volkswagens were solid, well-built, and had one feature no other car could match. Gloria Steinem is an influential lecturer and author who travels widely speaking on a range of women's issues. As the consulting editor and co-founder of Ms. Magazine, she realized that all car advertising is not created equal.
In 1972, when Ms. Magazine started, most car manufacturers didn't think that women bought cars. They thought maybe we chose the upholstery color or something, but that we didn't really make the purchase. And in fact, they advertised so exclusively to men that a lot of car ads had a blonde lying over the hood, you know, as if you could somehow buy her right along with the car. But Volkswagen was always different. In the same way that its car was simple and straightforward, its ads were simple and straightforward and honest. And in fact, in a very early issue of Ms. Magazine, they ran an ad that said, we never ran an ad in another magazine that we wouldn't run in Ms. Now, we had already discovered that the purchase of a car for a woman was a really important one. It meant symbolic freedom and independence and mobility. And gradually, as the rest of the car manufacturing world caught on to the fact that women were buying cars, they also started to address women in ads, but they were still condescending, you know, as if they were talking to a child somehow. But when Volkswagen did a special ad for women, that too was different. For instance, here's one, you know, that is a spoof on the fact that a station wagon is only supposed to be for women who take their kids to school and have groceries and are playing a traditional role. But this one says, "I bought a wagon out of wedlock." And because it was witty and it addressed women with intelligence, it really worked. So this business of cars is really very symbolic for women. It represents a world that we're not supposed to enter. And it meant a great deal that Volkswagen made us feel welcome.
Volkswagen advertising, like its cars, was honest. It was a new concept in selling automobiles.
Since everyone's conducting a mileage test, we at Volkswagen thought we'd conduct one. So we modified our body and our engine and used someone who didn't weigh much to drive. And we got 84 miles per gallon. Ridiculous? Nobody normally drives like this? That's precisely our point. Nobody normally drives like most of those tests.
May not have been pretty, but for its time, the Volkswagen Beetle was the most reliable and best value automobile you could buy. More than 21 million were sold. It became the single best-selling car in the world ever. Dave Power is the founder and president of the marketing information firm J.D. Power & Associates, the most respected, the most quoted analyst of consumer-related issues in the automotive industry. David, what's the key to the Beetle and Volkswagen's success over the years?
The real key to the Beetle has been its reliability, dependability, trouble-free operation, and a strong dealer force that backed it up with service. Yes, they demonstrated over the years that they had a dealer organization that was very responsive to the customer's needs.
Volkswagen was also responsive to a changing world market. They saw the need to create a new car that was as innovative for its time as the Beetle had been for a generation before. That remarkable new vehicle was called the Rabbit. It had an innovative front-wheel drive system that was ahead of its time and put Volkswagen ahead of more expensive cars that only promised the kind of performance and value for the money that Volkswagen actually delivered. One of the editors for Car and Driver magazine nominated it the most significant car of the last quarter century. This new Volkswagen was engineered to be fun to drive.
Reverend, you drive a Volkswagen Rabbit?
Yes, my son. It's a mixed blessing.
It is?
Yes. It's not only economical, which is good for the parish, but I must confess, with CIS fuel injection and front-wheel drive, it's sinfully fun. And it's the only car in its fold to have all that.
Wow, I guess you take it out often.
Religiously.
Seemed like an optical illusion, but you could carry stuff in the back that couldn't fit in the big station wagons.
Doesn't fit.
Excuse me, why are you delivering that huge cake in a Volkswagen Rabbit?
Because it didn't fit in my big Ford wagon.
I don't understand.
Neither can I. I bought the wagon because it was big and the Rabbit because it was small. Now the big car is smaller than the Rabbit and the Rabbit is bigger than the big car. It's making me crazy.
What do you say about the Rabbit now?
Buttermeat cake.
When the fuel crisis hit in the mid-70s, cars had to line up at gas pumps before dawn. Once again, Volkswagen engineers created a unique solution to a transportation problem. The right car at the right time. It was a Volkswagen diesel. It averaged 40 miles per gallon on the highway. It was the best mileage, best value car for the money in America. People all over wanted one.
President Anwar Sadat won't be riding around Cairo in limousines any longer. To help his country's economy, it was announced today, he is trading in his Cadillac and Mercedes limousines for a fleet of Volkswagen Rabbits. And where did Sadat get the idea? In this country, from a Volkswagen commercial on television.
Sheik, what's the problem?
Our entire economy is in jeopardy.
What's the problem?
Volkswagen Rabbit Diesel, the best mileage car in America, and does not use gas.
So, what's the problem?
It's quick. Got room for 4 people, and hardly ever needs a tune-up.
That's amazing. Everyone in America will want a Rabbit diesel.
That is the problem.
Volkswagen does it again.
Drivers in Japan are very demanding. They want a roomy, reliable car that's as easy on fuel as it is on the wallet. Wonder where they got that idea.
Sir, with all those good Japanese cars, why did you buy a Volkswagen Rabbit? But what makes the Rabbit so great? Oh, it is roomy, but how about the Rabbit's engineering? Well, how advanced is it? Space, performance, engineering. That must be why the Rabbit is the best-selling imported car in Japan.
Other car companies tried to follow Volkswagen's lead, but while they were busy studying the Rabbit's engineering, Volkswagen was busy engineering cars for the future. 1985 marked the beginning of a new era in Volkswagen history as new technology and new benchmarks in performance and value were introduced. In each model, Volkswagen engineers set a new standard for performance, ride, handling, and value, and were willing to stand behind their work or sit in front of it. Engineering and performance improvements set the GTI apart from the competition. Owner Trend magazine set it even farther apart when it chose the Volkswagen GTI Car of the Year in 1985. Every Volkswagen is engineered to be fun to drive. None delivered more on that promise than the Cabriolet, which was fast becoming the car of choice from the Jersey Shore to the California coast. When the new Jetta was introduced in 1985, the automotive press gave it rave reviews. This car was perhaps the best example of Volkswagen's engineering philosophy of designing cars from the inside out, not the other way around. The designers concentrated their skill on what's important in a car: performance, control, reliability, value for the money. It had everything the American consumer wanted in a European sedan and became the best-selling European nameplate in America. In the 90s, while the other companies talked rebates and how much money you could get back with their car, Volkswagen talked about how much car you could get for your money and added a new word to the language.
Slip into the driver's seat of the 1990 Volkswagen Jetta and experience Fahrvergnügen, when car and driver become one. Powered by a digital fuel-injected engine, Jetta's nimble suspension brings you as close to the road as you can get without scraping your knees. Once you experience Fahrvergnügen, the road will never be long enough.
Volkswagen's most consistent and endearing quality is the value you get for the money you pay. A story in Town & Country magazine quoted the proprietor of an elegant hotel in Switzerland who said, "A man with $1 million will arrive in St. Moritz in a Ferrari. A man with $10 million might come to Gstaad in a Volkswagen." Volkswagen owners define value in many ways.
About 5 minutes after they left, we got a phone call.
We swerved off the road, and she just lost control of it. We hit a guardrail on the driver's side.
And then the car flipped up on its top on the guardrail.
I didn't realize quite that we were upside down right off, and the seatbelt was holding us in. The roof buckled, but it didn't collapse on us.
The vehicle crushed and maintained its integrity and protected the passengers.
I didn't know how that car would handle up in an accident, and it did really well.
They built a car that protected my daughters.
It's a very safe car. We were all right. We were fine. There was no injury at all.
The Jetta did its job.
Everything about the car just feels better.
It's reliable, it's dependable.
It drives very well.
It ran flawlessly.
It's sharp looking.
After several years of driving another automobile, I came back to Volkswagen because it was more of an experience that I truly missed.
I have had 3 Beetles.
My mom has a Volkswagen, my sister has a Volkswagen.
2 Rabbits.
3 Cabriolets, and then before that I had a Rabbit.
And 1 Jetta. I just love the look of it. I love the feel of it.
It handles like a sports car almost.
You just feel very secure.
My dad still has the '56 Volkswagen, so we're saving it one day for my kids. I love my Jetta.
We love the car.
Love the car.
It was the only car I ever loved.
You've seen examples of the unique way Volkswagen talked about their cars in advertising over the years. But no advertising can convey the special feeling Volkswagen owners have about their cars. They tell stories about them as if they're talking about a close friend or a member of the family. You saw several examples of Volkswagen's leadership in design, engineering, and technology. Their record of leadership in manufacturing and the environment is no less impressive. One VW factory has produced more cars than any other automobile factory in the world and provides heat and electricity to the entire city of Wolfsburg, Germany, using an efficient, clean energy plant. Concern for the environment has been a long-standing tradition, part of Volkswagen's European heritage. Long before it was fashionable, Volkswagen initiated comprehensive environmental practices, limiting the use of natural resources and avoiding use of environmentally hazardous materials. 88% of the industrial wastewater is recycled, and more than 4,000 tons of paper are recycled each year, saving the equivalent of 60,000 trees. Preservation of the air and water was part of Volkswagen's original plan over 50 years ago. Just outside of Wolfsburg, Germany, sits a treacherous stretch of road where Volkswagens are sent to earn their stripes. This is where Volkswagen's engineering concepts are given real-world tests, and the tests are tough. New Volkswagens have gone through this kind of testing for years. That's why there are so many old ones on the road today. Everyone, a driver's car that works the way it was designed to work, mile after mile, day after day, year after year. Volkswagen believes the way something works is more important than the way it looks. That substance is better than style. That you should never change to be different, only to be better. We asked Dave Power what role Volkswagen might play in the American market in the future.
Volkswagen is one of the top 5 players on a global basis, and I'm convinced after talking with the top management of the company that they intend fully to be a very active player in the North American market. And I would say that they will show their muscle in terms of new products as the market develops over the next 10 years.
But you don't have to wait. The Volkswagens of tomorrow are here today. Revolutionary in concept and design. They're reliable, drivable, and above all, good value for the money. Today's Volkswagens are the best examples yet of Volkswagen's art. Everyone designed in Germany to one standard of integrity, quality, drivability, safety, and value. The Volkswagen standard. Everyone designed from the inside out, not the other way around, like the Golf. For 8 years in a row, the best-selling car in Europe, and the Golf 3, now the best-selling car in the world. The GTI packs a lot of excitement into a conservative package. The front-wheel drive Eurovan has more pure power, more torque and towing capacity than ever. The Corrado SLC has the performance traits of a Porsche and the reliability of a Volkswagen. Passat touring sedan and wagon are Volkswagens that combine practical luxury with versatility and driving excitement. The Jetta 3 has been completely redesigned and engineered to provide a perfect balance of room and ride, performance and handling. It's the only car in the compact segment to provide German quality, safety, and performance at an affordable price. A true car for the 90s. You know, a funny thing happened on the way to the 90s. People came to their senses, and things like quality, common sense, and honesty became things to believe in again. Volkswagen believes in Route 66 and the Autobahn. That a car should have a soul and a conscience, that it should be smart, feel right, and make you proud to say you own it. Volkswagen believes in value, that you get what you pay for. That you don't just buy a car, you buy a retailer who will service it. And a company that isn't satisfied unless you are. Volkswagen believes you do something because it's right, not because everyone else is doing it. That you should never scale back your expectations, just what you pay for them. We know this kind of thinking isn't for everyone. It never was. Every Volkswagen starts out as a machine, and this machine gets you to work in the morning, and to the supermarket, and to the barber shop on Saturday afternoon, and to your date on Saturday night. It takes the dog to the vet, and the family on vacation, and the kids to all the places kids don't want to go. And through it all, the machine is fun. And you realize that it's worth every dollar that you paid for it. You take care of this machine, and it takes care of you. And then one day, it happens. You're not sure when it happens. But it happens. This machine isn't a machine anymore. It's a friend you can believe in, a friend you trust, a friend of the family who just happens to sleep in the garage. May sound funny to talk about a car that way, but with Volkswagen, somehow it fits. I've driven a lot of cars, but never had more fun with one than the VW that got me through college, and the one I own now. It's a love affair. Today's Volkswagens don't look like the originals, but they share the spirit and carry on the tradition. Drive one. You'll see why Volkswagens are the most loved cars in the world.